Hey friends, welcome back to the channel and a new day in the life vlog of a budding property investor and part-time YouTuber. The day starts by finishing off my brand new deal finder and analyzer that I built using Notion. On here I can add properties that I find through Rightmove and other sources online and crunch the numbers to work out whether a property is worth going to view or not. After a few hours of scrolling through Rightmove looking for properties with floral carpets, avocado bathtubs, mould and other classic signs of an unloved property to work out whether a deal stacks, I simply look at comparable properties in the area, work out the rough estimate for the refurbishment, add the bridging loan and other costs, and voila! I have a profit figure and a return on investment just like that. After a long morning and afternoon, I had a list of about 20 properties that were listed below market value with enough room to afford a refurb and still make some kind of profit. Then, I spent the entire rest of the afternoon calling up estate agents and introducing myself while sweet-talking whoever picked up the phone to provide me with a backstory on each property, why it's up for sale, and if they've had any current offers. If you haven't already checked it out, I highly recommend watching my video where I call up estate agents and you can watch those conversations unfold just like a fly on the wall as I book viewings in and start to look at new property deals. After talking to some very interesting characters and hearing all sorts of stories about each property, I booked in a few viewings for the following week and excited to start my property career. A few days later, I hit the road and began checking out some of those initial property deals that I analysed using Notion. Even though this is meant to be a day in the life, for the purposes of this video, let's just pretend it happened all in a single day. Morning guys, we're viewing a few properties in Sheffield at the moment and we've got a few viewings today. I'll see if I can get some footage as we go around, but it depends on, because I'm meeting a few vendors and whether they want to record in the house or not. So we will see. So we've done a deal analysis and things seem okay. ROI varying between 20 to 30%, meaning the amount of money I put in versus the money I get back, so profit divided by money invested. We'll just see how things go and hopefully we'll make a few offers and see how it goes. Walking around the houses where I was able to get a really good feel for the size of each property, check out important things like the age of the boiler and state of the electrics and fuse box to work out whether I needed to include these costs into the refurbishment or not. This is another interesting property. It's on for auction at around 65, 70. Needs a little bit of work doing to it. It's got central heating. Need to check the electrics and see what box is in the house, but it could be a good contender. It's just very old inside, it needs refurb. I can't spot anything structural. Need to check the building regs on the stairs because this is a converted loft room, so I need to double check that because they're quite steep stairs. But otherwise, it could be a good contender. What I wasn't prepared for is the not so glamorous side of property investing, which involves walking around cold, damp houses with cobwebs hanging from every ceiling. And even worse is when you realise that the fuse box is in the basement, which means brushing past years worth of cobwebs with nothing to support you but a modest iPhone 12 torch and the distant sympathy of the agent showing me around, who always suspiciously opted not to follow me down. Thankfully, none of them closed the basement door while I was down there, so it's good to know that I haven't annoyed any estate agents just yet. After the viewings, I hopped back into my car to see some more properties. Two very interesting properties. So the first one is an inheritance property on the market for £90,000 and it needs about £15,000 to £20,000 doing. Other properties in the area probably worth around 110, 115, but it depends whether in the upstairs it's a 2-bed, but they're quite generous, and the bathroom is kind of split into two, so there's the toilet in one and then the bathtub and the sink in another. So if you can combine the bathroom to one room and use the extra space to create a third bedroom, that could add some value. So I'm going to do the figures on this one, and I'll definitely put an offer on to that one. The second house was what's known as a cluster house. Now, I wasn't quite familiar with it, but it's basically where you have like a bigger house that's split up into 3 or 4. So it was tiny. You walk into the front door, which is essentially the lounge. There is a really small box kitchen. And then you go up a spiral staircase and there's one bedroom and one really small bathroom. So I did wonder whether I could build a second bedroom, but having seen it now, it's definitely not going to work. So definitely offering one, and we'll just keep looking at other properties. There's a lot of auctions in and around Sheffield coming up at the end of January, so I'm going to have a look at those as well, try and get some viewings booked in, and then just see whether those properties could work as well. So let's wait and see. From here, I viewed a few more properties, checking out some really interesting ones all over South Yorkshire where I'm originally from, including one property where the back extension had completely separated from the main structure of the house and you could literally see all the way through the crack to inside the actual property. Okay, so we're in another property and this one's not in too bad of a condition. It's on the market for I think about 80,000. The area probably worth about 110 at a push, but the view, it's tricky, you can't quite see it, but the views, you've got all of Sheffield like just over here, which is incredible. So it's a nice little area, but we'll run the numbers and see if this one works as well. As I got home after a long day of property viewings, I crunched the numbers one last time on my favourite deals and put in an offer on a particular property where the vendor who was selling the house showed me around herself. As a great way to end the day, I went for a walk as the sun was setting to reflect on my day of property analysis and viewings, where I had an update from the estate agent on the first offer. Okay, so a quick update from me. It's now evening and I'm just going for a walk. So I've had a call back from the estate agent, and the vendor that I spoke to with the nice property that's on the market for 90. So I went for a little bit of a low ball at 78,750, but I don't think it's worth any more than 80 because it needs a 20 grand refurb and is worth only about 115 fully done up. So I don't think I want to offer over 80, but the vendors kind of said they'll sit with it for the moment. They'll see what other viewings they have. And when I did the viewing, I was actually speaking directly to the vendor there on the day, and she was showing me around. So I said to her, look, just hold on to the offer, go and do some of the viewings and see what you get from other people. If anyone messes you about and you'd like me to buy in cash, I can complete within 4 weeks, happy to do that. So she's got a nice open offer, and I said to her, there's no rush, like get other viewings in and see what other people offer you, and you know, do whatever's right for you. So she's kind of like softly rejected the first offer of 750, and we'll see kind of what happens next really. But we're looking at a few other properties and just see what comes through. If I need to negotiate a little bit on the first property, then we'll see what happens, and I might go up to 80, but after that there's less than £10,000 profit in the whole deal, so it's probably not worth it for 6 months worth of time. Plus also the risk of being a newbie investor. There are mistakes I could make that add to beyond £10,000, and therefore all of a sudden it's either a break even or a loss, which is something I'm trying to avoid. So we'll see what happens, and we'll keep carrying on. By the way, if you haven't done so already, I have 2 links in the description where you can sign up to Trading 212 and Free Trade, and if you invest a bit of cash onto the app into the stock market to help grow your money, you'll get a free stock from companies such as Apple, Airbnb, Google and more that could be worth up to £200. So I highly recommend it if you haven't done so already and previously signed up. As we come to the end of the day in the life of a property investor, the end of the day consists of more endless scrolling through Rightmove, looking at all sorts of shapes and sizes of properties, and tons more analysis to keep on hunting for that all-important first deal. Because property isn't a get-rich-quick world where no money down deals are falling onto your lap. It takes hard work, consistency and money to be able to invest with, otherwise it wouldn't be called property investing. That's it for a day in the life. Feel free to check out my other videos like this one where I explain how I'd get started in property with £30,000. Go ahead and check it out, and I'll see you on the other side. Thanks for watching, and good night.